You know the drill. Hit that like button, smash the like button. Let me know कि आप लोग मेरे साथ हैं इस लाइव स्ट्रीम पर और आप मुझे देख सकते हैं, सुन सकते हैं। बातों का सिलसिला जारी है एक बार फिर से क्रिकेट को लेकर दोस्तों। वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट नॉट जस्ट दिस आफ्टरनून इंडिया नेपाल मैच, उस पर जरूर आएंगे हम, बट ऑल्सो खबर आ रही है कि आज बीसीसीआई सिलेक्टर्स इंडिया का वर्ल्ड कप स्क्वाड अनाउंस करेंगे। यानी कि मीटिंग अपेरेंटली हो चुका है सैटरडे को, जब पालेकेले में पाकिस्तान मैच जो वॉश आउट हुआ था। सिलेक्टर अजीत अगरकर, चीफ सिलेक्टर, वो मिले रोहित शर्मा से, वो मिले राहुल द्रविड़ से। काफी रिपोर्ट्स आए हैं इस बात को लेकर, खासकर इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में मेरे दोस्त और कॉलीग देवेंद्र पांडे द्वारा। और खबर यह है कि स्क्वाड बन चुकी है, अनाउंस बस करने की देरी है। केएल राहुल पूरी तरह से फिट है दोस्तों, यानी कि द ग्रोइन निगल दैट ही पिक्ड अप आफ्टर बीइंग पास्ट फिट from the injury which sidelined him for a long time, he is now back. तो मेरे हिसाब से काफी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड स्क्वाड होगा ये। इसमें कुछ बदलाव नहीं होगा, इसमें कुछ चेंजेस नहीं होंगे, इसमें कोई नए चेहरे नहीं होंगे। इट शुड बी more or less the same squad that is currently in Sri Lanka for the Asia Cup. Now, of course, Asia Cup squad is 17 players. The World Cup squad will have to be trimmed down to 15. And Sanju Samson is the 18th member of the Asia squad. He's a standby traveling player. लेकिन अगर जैसे कि हम सब एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं केएल राहुल पूरी तरीके से फिट हैं, तो there is not going to be any place for Sanju Samson. Why? Because Sanju Samson was doing the job when KL Rahul was not around. He was always going to be number two keeper in KL Rahul's absence, and in KL Rahul's return situation, he was going to be bumped back to number three. इसका मतलब है कि संजू सैमसन और उनके सारे लाखों करोड़ों जो सोशल मीडिया वॉरियर्स हैं, हैशटैग जस्टिस फॉर संजू वाले, वो काफी निराश होंगे आज के दिन। कीप एन आई ऑन सोशल मीडिया, आई एम श्योर द पेज ट्रेंड्स विल रियली पिक अप टुडे। बट द फैक्ट इज दोस्तों, लाइक इट और नॉट, अगर केएल राहुल पूरी तरीके से फिट है बैटिंग करने के लिए, कीपिंग करने के लिए, तो ये टीम मैनेजमेंट, राहुल द्रविड़, रोहित शर्मा, वो लाल कारपेट बिछा के केएल राहुल को वापस करेंगे। आई हैव सेड, इसी चैनल पर मैं पहले भी कह चुका हूं, अगर जो केएल राहुल नेपाल मैच के बाद तीसरे एशिया कप मैच के लिए फिट नहीं होते हैं, देयर इज नो पॉइंट वेटिंग एनी लॉन्गर, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट वेटिंग लॉन्गर टू सी वेदर ही इज फिट। यू आर डिनाइंग समवन लाइक ईशान किशन या जो भी आप खिलाते हो उनके बदले, यू आर डिनाइंग देम द चांस टू इंप्रेस फर्दर। मैं आता हूं ईशान किशन पे। मैं समझता हूं बहुत लोग, और ऑलरेडी मैं देख चुका हूं कमेंट के बेसिस पर आ रहे हैं लोग ईशान किशन को उसके सवाल लेकर। द पॉइंट इज दोस्तों, यू एंड आई डोंट हैव टू अग्री विद इट, लेकिन ये तो सच्चाई है कि केएल राहुल अगर फिट हैं तो ये एशिया कप वापस आएंगे, कीपिंग करेंगे, नंबर 5 पे खेलेंगे। ईशान किशन को बाहर बैठना पड़ेगा। संजू सैमसन का तो शायद करियर खत्म हो चुका है केएल राहुल की फिटनेस के चलते। और फिर वर्ल्ड कप में अगेन, इफ केएल राहुल इज फिट इन द आईज ऑफ द बीसीसीआई, इन द आईज ऑफ रोहित शर्मा, इन द आईज ऑफ राहुल द्रविड़, ही इज गोइंग टू बी इंडियाज कीपर बैट्समैन नंबर 1 फॉर द वर्ल्ड कप। ठीक है, इसी रोल के लिए उनको ग्रूम किया किया गया था, फिर वो इंजर्ड हो गए। हालांकि उन्होंने आईपीएल में कीपिंग नहीं करी, अगर वो कीपिंग करते, आपको याद दिला दूं, तो उनको वो चोट नहीं पहुंचती जो वो लखनऊ सुपर जायंट्स के मैच में उन्हें आउटफील्ड में हुआ था। बट दैट्स इन नो वंस कंट्रोल। आई अंडरलाइन दिस फैक्ट वंस अगेन। आई एम नॉट इंटायरली इन एग्रीमेंट विद दिस फैक्ट, बट द फैक्ट इज दोस्तों कि अगर केएल राहुल मैच फिट हैं तो वो वापस आएंगे, वो 5 पे खेलेंगे एशिया कप में, वर्ल्ड कप में, और वो इंडिया का कीपर बैट्समैन बनेंगे। A sip of coffee and then let's take a look at the comments. Kamal, I'm just fine. How are you, my friend? Yes, CFC Blue. This is like I said in the video yesterday. The most disappointing fact for me was, of course, बारिश आई थी, बच गई इंडियन की टीम, लेकिन it was such a predictable story, wasn't it? शाहीन अफरीदी लेफ्ट आर्म पेस, रोहित वॉक द टॉक शर्मा, क्लीन बॉल। चलिए बॉल अच्छी थी। विराट कोहली की गेंद कौन सी अच्छी गेंद थी यार। विराट कोहली इतने अनुभवी प्लेयर, इतनी बातें वो करते हैं अबाउट बीइंग पॉजिटिव। He was looking to dab the ball down to third man with an angle bat. So predictable that quality left arm pace ruined India. और मैं दोबारा कहूंगा, लोग जो चाहते हैं कि ये टीम 3 बार मिले इस एशिया कप में, are you really sure you want Shaheen Shah Afridi bowling to India 3 times in the Asia Cup? I don't think so. Swapnil, hello Swapnil. Ishan Kishan should open with Rohit. I'm going to stand by what I said, Swapnil, in my preview show for India versus Pakistan. against Shaheen Shah Afridi with his somewhat susceptible technique, I do not think Ishan Kishan stands as much of a chance. And I know इससे पहले कि आप मुझसे कहेंगे भाई रोहित शर्मा ने क्या उखाड़ा, शुभमन ने क्या उखाड़ा, विराट कोहली ने क्या उखाड़ा. Yes, it was a terrible match for all three of them. They have a lot to do, but I just feel if the conditions, Ahmedabad match, October 13th, on that bouncy, pacey track, I still feel openers, bhale wo right-handers ho, which works better for Shaheen Afridi. I still feel Ishan Kishan up front against quality pace bowling is not your best opening option. I would still, like I've been saying now, if you got to play him, he cannot open because you don't want to disturb the Rohit Gill partnership, irrespective of how bad Gill is these days, irrespective of how loose Rohit is playing. I still feel Ishan Kishan, now that you've picked him, again, if KL Rahul comes back, this discussion doesn't matter. Agar KL Rahul परसों के मैच में आते हैं, then Ishan Kishan is out. This is a fact. But what do you do with Ishan Kishan? I feel on the basis of that innings yesterday, you're better having him at number five. That's just my gut feeling. Maybe I'm proved wrong. Swapnil, maybe you're proved right and he ends up being a better opening option. I just don't feel it. That's just my feeling. Hi, sir, says Pratik. According to you, किसको खिलाना चाहिए ईशान और केएल राहुल if Rahul is fit? Again, जैसे कि मैंने कहा था प्रतीक, ईशान किशन के साथ अभी आप क्या करोगे? क्या आप उन्होंने 82 मारे 81 बॉल्स पे 9 चौके 2 छक्के उन्होंने मैच पलटा हार्दिक पांड्या के साथ अब उन्हें क्या कहेंगे बेटा आपके पास डबल सेंचुरी है वनडे में लेकिन आप रिजर्व प्लेयर हो आप रिप्लेसमेंट प्लेयर हो आपको बाहर बैठना पड़ेगा इट वुड बी वेरी वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट व्हिच इज व्हाई मैं दोबारा इस बात पर जोर दूंगा कि द स्टेटस दैट केएल राहुल होल्ड्स इन दिस इंडियन टीम with Virat Kohli around, with Rohit Sharma being captain, with Rahul Dravid being coach, he's placed on such a high pedestal that the day he's proved fit, even if it's 10 days before the World Cup, he's going to walk in as your keeper batsman. Now, like I've been saying since the start of the year, before KL Rahul got injured, and you can check my videos, इस बात से मैं नहीं हटूंगा मैं पहले भी कह चुका हूं कि केएल राहुल को वर्ल्ड कप में कीपिंग नहीं करना चाहिए ये दोस्तों मैंने जनवरी के महीने में कहा था इसी प्लेटफॉर्म पर बिकॉज I just feel he's not an ideal keeper for a World Cup match. He's done the job in ample one days, ample T20Is, ample IPL matches, but in a World Cup tournament, which is the most important one-day tournament every 4 years, मेरे हिसाब से एक professional day in day out वाला keeper को काम करना चाहिए. Someone like a Rishabh Pant, पर वो नहीं है. So then your next option as a keeper batsman, not a batsman, as a batsman at number 5, I will still pick केएल राहुल ओवर ईशान किशन क्योंकि उनके 5 पे आंकड़े बेहतरीन है राइट दिस वाज ईशान किशन's first innings of note in the middle order now he's done brilliantly well he took the momentum away from Pakistan with that splendid 82 but the fact is KL Rahul still holds a higher status a senior status so you may not agree I may not agree but if KL Rahul is fit Ishan Kishan makes way unless Shubman Gill does not score a run going into the World Cup. Then you drop Shubman Gill and you play Ishan Kishan as an opener. Hello, sir. Hello. Atul is back. How are you doing? Is the weather? I wish it were gloomy. It's very bright, very humid here. Is it true? Bumrah बाप बनने वाले भाई वो बन चुके हैं. Already post डाल दिया social media में. He and Sanjana they welcomed the child. I think Kohli should definitely bat at number 4, says Swapnil. Okay, I don't agree, but I understand where you're coming from. So I will respect your decision. Naseem Shah is the silent performer. Bhai, Naseem Shah started better than Afridi. Afridi got the wickets after the first rain break, but Naseem Shah, can you imagine the quality of that pace attack? Naseem Shah, Afridi, if they don't get you, bloody Haris Rauf will. Oof, fantastic pace attack here. I'm getting worried about October 13th. Who would replace Hardik Pandya in case he gets injured during the World Cup? Beneath, that's a very, very good question. If Hardik Pandya beneath is not bowling his full quota, then I would assume that Suryakumar Yadav comes in as a batsman. If they feel, again, based on conditions, not overhead, but underneath, then Akshar Patel being the third all-rounder, he would come in. But then you've lost a very, very senior batsman. How do you replace Hardik Pandya, the all-rounder? With Akshar Patel. How do you replace Hardik Pandya, the batsman? आपके पास वो ऑप्शन है ही नहीं. I'll say it again. सूर्य कुमार भले ही नंबर 1 हो T20I में, लेकिन 26 वनडे मैच में उन्होंने ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया जिसे देखकर मैं कह सकता हूं कि ये वनडे में वर्ल्ड कप खेल सकते हैं. जस्ट माय व्यू. हार्दिक वेलकम बैक. आज आपको नोटिफिकेशन मिल गया. इस पाकिस्तान टीम का फैन हो गया मैं. आय हाय हाय क्या बात कर रही हो. ये 90s वाली बॉलिंग ट्रियो लग रही है इस टीम का. भाई फैन तो मैं पाकिस्तान टीम का नहीं हूं वैसे, बट यू हैव टू एडमायर, दिस इज गॉट टू बी द बेस्ट पेस बॉलिंग अटैक गोइंग अराउंड। 90s वाली बात तो नहीं है, 90s वाली बात तो कुछ और थी यार। वसीम, वकार, आकिब जावेद, अजहर महमूद, अब्दुल रजाक, शोएब अख्तर, इनके पास बहुत बहुत थे। हाँ, आज के हिसाब से नंबर वन रैंक टीम के हिसाब से ये बेहतरीन तिगड़ी है पाकिस्तान की। Welcome back, Ashutosh. Same way Shine has been getting all our batters out since 21. Shows that we haven't learned a single thing. Absolutely how an experienced guy cannot know he's being set up. Virat Kohli dismissal was shocking to me. He can make faces all he wants to, woo ha, all that nonsense. आप इतने बड़े प्लेयर हो भाई, आप नंबर 3 के किंग हो, आप डॉन हो नंबर 3 के, आपने आड़ी तिरछी बल्ला क्यों घुमाया उसके सामने? वेरी वेरी डिसअपॉइंटेड विद रोहित शर्मा एंड विराट कोहली। रोहित की अगली से की गेंद थोड़ी हल्की सी बाहर गई थी। कोहली हैज नो एक्सक्यूज। एंड आई डोंट वांट पीपल गोइंग आफ्टर, अरे श्रेयस अय्यर का छोटा गेंद प्रॉब्लम है भाई। छोटा गेंद प्रॉब्लम उस बंदे ने सॉर्ट किया। एशिया में कोई शॉर्ट बॉल दिक्कत नहीं है। शुभमन गिल भले ही इनका खराब टाइम चल रहा है, ही लुक शॉकिंगली, पता नहीं, ही लुक वेरी वेरी डिफरेंट इन दैट लास्ट इनिंग्स, ऑलमोस्ट टेंटेटिव। बट आई स्टिल होल्ड द टू बिगेस्ट प्लेयर जो पाकिस्तान के सामने बहुत बार खेल चुके हैं। For me, the biggest letdown was Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. The predictable way they got out to shine Afridi. Ashutosh is bilkul right in talking about that weakness. Swapnil, to answer your question, I've dedicated so many shows to this fact. Yes, absolutely, based on stats, based on results, based on strike rate, based on average, based on run count. In my book, Sanju Samson should be playing ahead of Sky. But the point is, Sky is never going to play the World Cup, and Samson is done because Sky and Samson are not first choice players. Samson and Sky get their chances when a first choice player is injured or rested. If India field their first choice 11, it doesn't include Sky, it doesn't include Samson. So to me, it's an argument that is closed. Vinod Kaka, SBI cricket fans, especially Sanju Samson fans करते थे, but being a neutral fan, मैं बस इतना कहूंगा कि संजू ने अब तक अवेलेबल कंडीशंस को इनकैश नहीं वेस्ट किया है। मैं दोबारा कहूंगा, ये सवाल बहुत 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 बार आया है इस चैनल पर। मैं बस ये कहूंगा विनोद काका के T20I में उन्हें 20 के आसपास चांसेस मिले, उन्होंने बिल्कुल उन 20 चांसेस में कुछ नहीं किया। वनडे में उन्हें सिर्फ 11-12 चांसेस मिले हैं, और मोटा मोटा आप देखें उन 12 मैचेस में इनका एवरेज बहुत अच्छा है, इनका स्ट्राइक रेट बहुत अच्छा है। तो आई थिंक इन वन डे संजू सैमसन हैज डन फॉर मोर देन सूर्य कुमार यादव हैज। बट लाइक आई जस्ट टोल्ड स्वप्निल, बात यह है कि जब केएल राहुल फिट है, जब अय्यर फिट हैं, जब ऋषभ पंत वापस आएंगे, तो ना ही स्काई खेलेंगे और ना ही सैमसन खेलेंगे। इट इज दैट सिंपल। Shami or Prasid? Very, very good question. I would say based on seniority and based on the fact that Shami only got this second chance or this third chance, in fact, at one day cricket is because for the last 11, 12 months, both Bumrah and Prasid Krishna were out. So if you look at it from a chronological perspective, hands down, Prasid Krishna should be playing because in 14 one-day matches, आपको याद दिला दूं कि 20 से लेके 22 तक उन 2 साल के बीच मोहम्मद शामी को टीम ने लात मार के बाहर भेज दिया था वनडे टीम से। He was done as a one-day player. It's because there were injury concerns over these two bowlers that Shami got his chance, and in their absence, he played about 11 one-days. He took some decent wickets. He's got some good spells. So on that basis, it just depends, Pal Arnab. Are you looking at it? The stopgap player should be rewarded because he was consistent, or should the player who was playing before him get a chance? I would say Prasid Krishna, but I know it's going to be Mohammad Shami. अभिषेक कह रहे हैं आजकल मैच को देखता नहीं, पर ये क्या है कि पाक के सामने हमेशा टॉप 3 फेल, इनसे मैचेस भी नहीं होते, क्या करना चाहिए इंडियन बैटर्स को? विराट रोहित जैसे प्लेयर्स फेल होंगे तो बाकी आईपीएल वालों को क्या? बिल्कुल, इफ रोहित शर्मा एंड विराट कोहली गोना स्ट्रगल, how can you say Shubman Gill? Shubman Gill was playing Pakistan for the first time. I'll still allow him one match to feel overawed, right? जब वो देख रहे हैं कि भाई रोहित फ्लॉप हो गए, विराट फ्लॉप हो गए, तो क्या करूं मैं? So I'm going to cut some slack to Shubman Gill, but like Abhishek you said, ये प्रॉब्लम काफी साल से आ रहा है, 2017, 2019, 2021। क्वालिटी लेफ्ट आर्म पेस, चाहे शाहीन हो, चाहे बोल्ट हो, चाहे उशेन थॉमस हो, ये इस टीम को दिक्कत देती है लेफ्ट आर्म पेस। प्रतीक कह रहे रोहित के आउट होने के पहले ही विराट ने रिएक्शन दिया था, ऐसा साफ दिखा दे रहा है कि ये लोग मेंटली कितने, बिल्कुल दैट शॉट, चलिए बेहतरीन गेंद थी, लेकिन आपने क्या किया? रोहित को तो कम से कम बेहतरीन गेंद मिला, आपको कौन सा गेंद मिला यार? देयर वाज नथिंग, यू वर सेट अप विद 2 balls गोइंग आउट, ही ड्राइव बैक द लेंथ, आपने बैट यूं घुमाया थर्ड मैन और आप बोल्ड हो गए। Terrible, terrible dismissal. Jaya Krishnan is back. If Gill not performing in Asia Cup, then Kishan should play the opener. Bilkul. If Shubman Gill does not score runs in the Asia Cup, they're going to give him those three matches against Australia after the Asia Cup. If Shubman Gill does not score runs in the next five matches, he will and should be dropped for Ishan Kishan. That's very, very obvious. जी भाई हार्दिक को अफरीदी ने बढ़िया सेटअप किया परफेक्ट वीडियो गेम बॉल्स दो बॉल बाहर एक बॉल अंदर बिल्कुल सही है Shreyas look Shreyas came back and got 14 off 9 balls any other day that catch would not have gone it would have gone over him and probably no he would have gotten 80 runs he looked that good so I'm not going to hold Shreyas Iyer accountable at all Ashutosh might just be me but I don't like this brotherhood before the match show all respect after the match the laughing and giggling after mid performance puts fans off Again, I'm sort of on the fence because I've seen the rivalry of the 90s where yes, there was brotherhood, but it was very, very fierce. I just think given the political tensions, the players probably don't align to all of those political feelings. It's a social media age. I think that's the biggest factor. You want to win fans over on social media, so again I'm all for the brotherhood it just shouldn't be fake Wasim Akram writes about it in his memoir Sultan about how he and Ravi Shastri got along so well but on the field he'd be at it how Dilip Vengsarkar and Javed Miandar were very good friends off the field but on the field they'd be at it so I want that kind of performance keep it aggressive don't get ugly don't get abusive keep it aggressive but off the field if you have genuine feelings and of brotherhood or pals then don't hesitate to show it. But don't make it, don't make it designed for social media. Mukul keh rahe Shreyas Iyer's place is in danger in the 11. No, not at all. Shreyas Iyer has been India's check the stats. India's best number four, more than KL Rahul, more than Ishan Kishan. It is Shreyas Iyer who walks right back in at number four. So Shreyas Iyer's place will never be up for debate. KL Rahul's is because every show I do, 90% of fans say why is KL Rahul in the team? No one questions Shreyas Iyer because again, it's out of acceptance and respect for the stats he's put up. He's got the best numbers. There is no better number four across all one days, not just India in the last 2 years, than Shreyas Iyer. Ankur, you joined the stream late. KL Rahul has been fast fit. He will step in for the third match of the Asia Cup as per the latest updates from the BCCI. Do you think if Virat plays at four, then India will safeguard themselves of getting their best two batters out super early, and Virat will know that he has to hold the innings together if India is 10 for 2? Yes, absolutely, you're right. And Virat Kohli, let's not forget, he's got 200s and about 4 5 50s from number four, but that was 7 8 years ago. Mere saab se, you want Virat Kohli batting at the position where he's become King Kohli, as so many of you people call him. Halanki, I have no time for words like king or don or god or whatever, but it is what it is. Virat Kohli has become the Virat Kohli we all love, respect, and admire because of what he achieved batting at number three. तो भले ही उनका फॉर्म थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे हो भले ही वो शाहीन की बॉल पे आउट हुए I would still want him batting at the position where he's become the most fantastic chaser of this era. So for me, he should not be moved from number three, just like Rohit Sharma should not be moved from number one. Pakistan might get Saud Shakil for Agha Salman and Fahim Ashraf or Mohammad Wasim for Nawaz as they lack the fourth pacer. I don't think you need Mohammad Nawaz now. Agar Shadab Khan, Mar Khan, so I would definitely bring in Fahim Ashraf because he's done decently well before. If Prasid not in World Cup squad, then why to keep him in Asia Cup? That's the same for Tilak Verma. At the time the Asian game squad was announced, Prasid Krishna's fitness was not known, right? And we've seen players can be swapped around. So if Prasid Krishna, like I expect, does not go to the World Cup, they might very well add him to the Asian game because he's shown in those two Ireland T20s that he's back to fitness, he's back to pace, he's back to wicket keeping skill. So just because he's not in the Asian game squad doesn't mean that he cannot be added. Tilak Verma was nowhere near India's World Cup plans, Asia Cup plans, but he scored runs in three matches against the West Indies, and suddenly he had a terrible time. He scored one run in two matches in Ireland, but what the selectors saw in him in the West Indies thought that, yeah, if Iyer and Rahul don't get fit, then we should add him in the one-day squad. But now we all know Tilak Verma is not going to play the Asia Cup at all because Shreyas Iyer is back and KL Rahul is also back. To be continued, it shouldn't be fake. Exactly. I mean, Rock was all appreciative, laughing, and team with India. and then started with the shenanigans in the match. Correct. I was pretty disappointed in Haris Rauf's dismissal, but like I'm saying, that's how cricket should be played. Just because you're actually friends, I'm not going down the fake angle, Ashutosh. If you have genuine feelings of bhaichara, Shubman Gill talking in Punjabi to Haris Rauf and Shadab, if that's genuine, by all means. But when the game starts, you're not brothers. So I'm all for this. Be aggressive, take people on, but don't get abusive, don't cross the line, and don't do this finger wagging. Baki, I'm all for genuine brotherhood before, during, after, but on the field, no sympathy. Give your aggressive best. जय हिंद जय भाई थैंक यू क्या आपको लगता है पाकिस्तान दो अगेन आप अभी नेट आप बहुत सारे व्यूअर की तरह आप ये गलत फहमी में हो कि टारगेट 267 था नहीं टारगेट वाज 155 20 ओवर में अगर क्योंकि इतनी बारिश हुई थी कि 50 ओवर तो कभी होने ही नहीं थे पहले 35 ओवर में इनको चाहिए थे 226 वो बन जाते इंडिया शायद वो रोक लेते लेकिन 20 ओवर का मैच जो होने वाला था बिफोर वाज कॉल्ड ऑफ 20 ओवर में 155 का टारगेट अंडर लाइट्स गीली बॉल यानी कि साबुन वाली बॉल के साथ इंडिया वर गोइंग टू हैव अ डैम टफ टाइम डिफेंडिंग इट तो आप ये मत सोचिए डू नॉट बिलीव फॉर अ सेकंड that Pakistan's target was 267 that was ended the moment the rain came down in the innings break 1.5 घंटे बाद 2 घंटे बाद हम सबने देखा टीवी पे आया था the target is 155 in 20 overs उस T20 फॉर्मेट में पाकिस्तान बेहतरीन टीम बन जाती है Rizwan opens. Pakistan would have probably won by 8 wickets because in a T20 match with a wet ball, every team likes to chase. That's why I said Barish ne India ko bacha diya us match mein. Since rain is around, says Crick Maniac, India bats first. Can they declare? No, I think we're being too optimistic about India. I said before, जिस तरह से पाकिस्तान टीम ने कुछ 240 242 रन से मुल्तान में एशिया कप ओपनर में नेपाल को धोया राइट I'm not being disrespectful, but this is what you expect. You want to make a statement. आप नंबर 1 रैंक्ड वनडे टीम हो आपके पास नंबर 1 रैंक बैट्समैन है बाबर आजम you need to make a statement and beating Nepal by 244 odd runs that is the kind of statement that I wish मैं दुआ करता हूं मैं आशा करता हूं मैं चाहता हूं कि आज अगर पूरा मैच हुआ तो इंडिया भी नेपाल को 200 से हराए या 10 विकेट से this is not a match to think of 300. If you bat first, you chase 350. You target 350 like Pakistan did. If you're chasing, you beat them by 9, 10 runs. You want to enter the Super 4 with a statement. आपको दिखाना है कि despite having selection problems, despite, excuse me, despite having injury problems, we are India. We are here to win this World Cup. You need to smash Nepal just the way that Pakistan smashed them. No second chances. No thinking about hum over killing and you need to go out there and smash them. I want Shubman Gill to get 150. I want Rohit to get 100. I don't want anyone else to bat. Maximum you should be targeting 350 for the loss of 2 wickets. आपकी बैटिंग पाकिस्तान से बेहतर है अगर सब प्लेयर फिट है आपकी बॉलिंग भी काफी अच्छी अगर जो फिट है आज बुमराह नहीं है but I've been saying Bumrah should never play Nepal. He should be rested. You need to smash Nepal just the way that Pakistan smashed them. To send a message to everyone कि भैया हम सीरियसली खेलने आए हैं एशिया कप SS98 is back with his World Cup 15. Rohit Gill, Virat, Shreyas, Rahul, Ishan, Hardik, Jadeja, Shardul, Kuldeep, Bumrah, Siraj, Shami, Surya, Aksar. Absolutely my team as well. My reserves are, yep, exactly, same squad. How can KL Rahul be fit in first given Ishan played well? Because, like I said, aap is stream mein late aaye ho, KL Rahul was given the World Cup wicketkeeper role in Bangladesh 10 months ago, 11 months ago. So given the seniority he has, given the love that Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma have for him, it's very logical to expect Ishan Kishan, just like Surya Kumar Yadav, वो एक रिजर्व प्लेयर के तौर पे 11 में आते हैं ईशान किशन सूर्य कुमार यादव संजू सैमसन अक्षर पटेल ये कभी भी फर्स्ट चॉइस प्लेयर नहीं है जब तक विराट कोहली रोहित शर्मा ऋषभ पंत if Rishabh Pant were here Ishan Kishan would not even be in the picture Ishan Kishan would not be playing one days he would not be in the World Cup probables if Rishabh Pant was fit Rishabh Pant is keeper number 1 KL Rahul is keeper number 2 जब तक रोहित शर्मा और राहुल द्रविड़ कोच और कैप्टन हैं ईशान किशन ने भले ही 82 रन मारे परसों के मैच में और अफसोस की बात है कि उनको बोलना पड़ेगा बेटा हट जाओ again I would rather have him bat right now because he scored runs but द स्टैटिस्ट दैट केएल राहुल, आप और मैं इस बात पर बहस कर सकते हैं, लेकिन आप और मैं कौन है? इंडियन टीम को लगता है कि केएल राहुल इनके बेस्ट कीपर बैट्समैन है। इस बात पे आप और मैं कुछ नहीं बदल सकते। सो इट इज देयर। Surya in ODI World Cup squad questionable. Absolutely, he's done nothing to deserve a spot. I've been saying it for months now. Bhuvneshwar long finished. Bhuvneshwar long gone. Chahal, no, Bhuvneshwar Kumar is done. He's retired from international cricket. Chahal will probably play a few T20s, but his one-day career is over. What's your opinion on Akshar and Jaddu in the squad? I would have wanted, I said it before, I would have wanted Washington Sundar here instead of Akshar Patel, but he did not pass the criteria to be fit. And I don't know why people are bringing up Ashwin. Ashwin last, tell me, when was Ashwin's last one day match? If you can answer this question without Googling it, I will reply to your next question. I just laugh when Ashwin's name comes up in in World Cup plans. एक ऐतिहासिक का हार से बचा है बारिश की वजह से, बिल्कुल। अगर ये T20 मैच होता जैसे कि होता, आई थिंक पाकिस्तान 10 विकेट नहीं, बिकॉज दे हैड कुलदीप यादव, बट दे वुड हैव वन बाय 8 विकेट्स, दे वुड हैव स्मैश इंडिया। बारिश ने इंडिया को बचाया। और बहुत व्यूअर्स इस गलतफहमी को पाल रहे हैं कि उस दिन पाले केली में 2.5 घंटे की बारिश के बाद टारगेट 267 होता। नहीं, टारगेट था 20 ओवर में 155 रन। और एक 20 ओवर के मैच में उन गीली कंडीशंस में यू ऑलवेज बैक द टीम चेसिंग। तो एक बार फिर से बारिश ने इंडिया की लाज बचा दी उस दिन। Is India a surety for Super 4? Absolutely. Nepal is lost. Nepal is not going to beat India. India have 1 point. Even if today's match is washed out, India have 2 points. Their group is only Pakistan. Look at how the host broadcasters have forced the ACC to name that group. Because they want India Pakistan playing 3 matches, they put Nepal as the third match. अगर इनकी हिम्मत होती तो नेपाल के बदले उस ग्रुप में बांग्लादेश डालो, अफगानिस्तान डालो, फिर इंडिया के चांसेस मुश्किल होते। इट्स बिकॉज नेपाल अनफॉर्चुनेटली इज द थर्ड ग्रुप। इवन इफ इट्स अ वॉश आउट टुडे, India get 2 points. That's 2 more points than Afghanistan. The Asia Cup has been designed to put India and Pakistan not in the Super Fours, in the final, my friend. I and my best friend play for different clubs. When we play against each other, we are very aggressive and sometimes we exchange heated words. But our players, बिल्कुल, that's exactly how it should be. Very well said, Manish. मैं भी ऐसे खेलता हूँ यहाँ पे जो मेरे तीन तीन टीम्स है, बिल्कुल सही। Deepak Chahar and Sundar are always injured. Yes, I agree. That's why they're never seriously considered. I still think Sundar is considered far more, which is why he came right back. Deepak Chahar is a strange one, man. I'm not a fan of him because he can never play 4 matches in a row. So, yeah, strange one. If KL Rahul can score 30 ball 50 if needed, he is defensive player. KL Rahul has scored 35 ball 50s. He scored hundreds also of like 70 odd balls. But again, that was a different time. If you look at his stats, his average and strike rate at number 5 in one days is very, very good. But again, he's been off the park for 5 months. मेरा ये प्रॉब्लम है कि जिस खिलाड़ी ने आईपीएल में विकेट कीपिंग नहीं करी, जिनका आईपीएल भी थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे रहा, how is the team assuming that 5 months since he last played a match, KL Rahul can come back and keep wickets? That is my problem. I'm all for Ishan Kishan playing. Don't get me wrong, but I know how the Indian team will think. It's because they've put KL Rahul on a certain pedestal. कि the day he's past fit, Ishan Kishan, बेटा साइड हो जा, केएल राहुल वापस आएंगे. That's the problem. बट अगर टारगेट टू, यही तो मैं कह रहा हूं, इफ द टारगेट वाज 267 in 50 overs, then India was going to win because it's a different ball game. To add 200 runs after you're reduced to 66 for 4 in a one-day match with Kuldeep bowling 10 overs, quality spin, Jadeja bowling 10 overs, restrictive spin, Bumrah bowling 10 overs, then it's India's game. But in a T20 match, with that ball becoming very, very wet, with Pakistan giving the license to play a very different brand, to open with Rizwan and Babar, then it becomes Pakistan's game. But same thing happened in 2022 World Cup with Ashwin. Exactly. And what happened? What happened? Disaster World Cup, right? Ashwin came into nowhere. That's what Ashwin's last one-day match, my friend, was in January 2020. So you tell me, if a player is not deemed fit for one day for 18 months, how the heck can he come back? They made that mistake. They played Chahal for 1 year, and out of the blue, Ashwin comes back. Ashwin ne kiya kya? India got hammered in that T20 World Cup. You cannot. 2019, Ambati Rayudu, Vijay Shankar, we've seen these out of the blue selections do not work. That's why Ashwin was a bad call in 2022, and he'll be a worse call. In fact, he's not going to come back now. So, Ashwin, Test great, Test legend on the way to maybe, possibly breaking Anil Kumble's Test record. But if you've not played a one day, and let's not forget, when Ashwin was recalled for the South Africa tour in December of 2022, he had not played a one day for 4.5 years. So already, when you pick a player after 4.5 years, it says आपकी सोच खराब है. Deepak Chahar services are only limited to CSK. Unfortunately, yes. 20 ओवर्स के मैच में 2 नो बॉल से आसान नहीं होता भाई. टी T20 में हर टीम, मतलब 90% टीम्स चेस क्यों करते हैं? क्योंकि उनको चेस करना पसंद, उनको पता है कि ड्यू है, गीले कंडीशंस में 155 रन को डिफेंड करना नामुमकिन के हिसाब है, राइट? और पाकिस्तान की टीम T20 में एक अलग टीम उतर के आती है फील्ड पे. इंडिया with the conditions, with rain coming to defend 155 in those conditions, very, very tough. That's why I say Pakistan would have rather easily beaten that match. I'm not being disrespectful. ऐसे नहीं कि इंडिया के पास बॉलिंग नहीं थी, बॉलिंग अच्छी थी, बट उन कंडीशंस में, पाले केले में, बारिश, टॉप स्टार्ट, गीली बॉल, साबुन जैसे बॉल के साथ 155 का टारगेट काफी आसान होता. सर, वर्ल्ड कप में सबसे अच्छी टीम कौन सी है आपके पीओवी? बहुत बार कह चुका हूं, ऑस्ट्रेलिया. ऑस्ट्रेलिया वर्ल्ड कप फेवरेट्स. You can be sure about World Cup team till bilkul you cannot be sure. That's why ICC has given you until 28. So if Shubman Gill fails during the Asia Cup, fails during the Australia series, he could be dropped for someone else, right? I don't think he will be dropped. That's why if KL Rahul, Iyer, anyone gets injured, you have. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to put your first choice pick before the 5th. कल September 5 is the first deadline to name your squad. So जाहिर सी बात है कि टीम वही देंगी. And 28th, you also have practice matches. Before those 3 practice matches, you have to announce your final squad. And barring any injuries, it's going to be the exact same squad जो कि आज announce होगा. Thoughts on the current rise of Zimbabwe cricket? I'm not sure what rise you're talking about. I have not seen much of a rise. You can elaborate. They're still struggling in one days. T20 eyes may they put the odd match. They hardly play Test cricket, so I'm not quite sure what you mean by rise, my friend Swapnil. दोस्तों आपको याद दिला दूं कि आज 1:30 once again Raposo ऐप पर Play Store, Apple Store, download Raposo. It's free. You have to make an account. Follow me every day of the Asia Cup जहां पे मैच हो. 1:30 आप मेरे लाइव क्रिकेट पॉडकास्ट पे जुड़ सकते हो, मुझसे सवाल कर सकते हो. अक्सर हम फैंटेसी क्रिकेट लेकर बात करते हैं. फिर हर मैच डे पे 2 न्यूज 9 टीवी 9 यू कैन जॉइन मी देयर. मिड इनिंग्स ब्रेक और मैच के बाद आप मेरे साथ दोबारा जुड़ सकते हैं क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट यूट्यूब चैनल पर. Looks like most of Super Fours are going to be a washout. Bad decision. Absolutely, Ankur. I said this. I said, having been to Sri Lanka twice to cover cricket in the months of August, I know how wet it is. अब खबर आ रही है क्रिकेट इन्फो से कि कोलंबो से मैच शिफ्ट. मतलब भाई, I know originally पाकिस्तान में ये मैच होना था जहां पे बारिश के कोई चांसेस नहीं है. But again, we all know कि India was never going to go to Pakistan. Sri Lanka is a convenient place, but it always rains in October, September. One of the worst times after June, July to host cricket in Sri Lanka. It is what it is. और अब ये पछताएंगे. शामी को कितना खिलाओगे वर्ल्ड कप यंग प्रसिद्ध? बिल्कुल, मैं तो कह रहा हूं प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा मेरे सबसे फेवरेट इंडियन फास्ट बॉलर हैं आजकल. बट क्या करें, शामी सीनियर हैं, शामी को आपने रोल दिया. मैं चाहूंगा कि प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा आज का मैच खेले, हर मैच खेले. बट आई नो शामी विल प्ले. ABCD, did you watch Australia versus South Africa? I watched a bit of the first one. I watched Australia's innings. I did not watch the second one. Yesterday, before I went to play my own match, I watched the last 6 overs of the first innings. Mitchell Marsh looked good. Travis said, I missed the innings, but I will watch highlights. Yep, they have a great attacking pair. That's what I'm saying. Australia, you know where Australia's first World Cup match is? Chennai में. Cricketing इतिहास में ऑस्ट्रेलिया एक ही बार एक वनडे मैच हारी है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में. Adam Zampa is going to run rings around India's batsmen. Australia is, to my mind, World Cup favorites. मैं बहुत महीने से ये कह रहा हूं ये. Heat Streak. Yeah, Heat Streak demise. I never met Heat Streak, but having watched him in the 90s and 2000s, he was for me, along with Andy Flower and Grant Flower, Mr. Cricket. My earliest memories of are of Heat Streak. Of course, I remember David Houghton, but Heat Streak. The only Zimbabwean player with over 200 Test wickets. No other Zimbabwean player has even got past 80 Test wickets. An icon. Unfortunately, in the last couple of years, there was all that. Match fixing news and all that stuff. But as a player, I would like to remember Heat Streak throughout the 90s, especially, bowling like this with that finger, with a watch. The first player I saw, I think, who always wore a watch, just a very competitive, you sort of felt like, yaar, ye banda agar kisi aur desh ka hota, to ye wahan ka great hota, one of those players. So, very, very sorry to hear about his demise at 49. Or my heart goes out to his whole family. South Africa has the best batting lineup at ODI. Hendricks, De Kock, Rassie. Swapnil, you're probably going to hate me for this. South Africa can field the best lineup. They're never going to win a World Cup. They're not. इनके डीएनए में लिखा है कभी नहीं होगा. I have never ever. I've been watching them since 1996. ये टीम वर्ल्ड कप में आके इतना जोकर टीम बन जाती है. Not choker, joker. I will never I will never rank them in a World Cup team. They can, यार, Kirsten, one of their best openers. Graham Smith, their best opener. Callis, De Villiers, Faf. जब ये महान प्लेयर कलेक्टिवली वर्ल्ड कप में इतनी बार रायता फैलाते आए, तो ये लोग क्या करेंगे यार? चांस नहीं है, चांस नहीं है. Reputation, seniority takes preference in Indian team, not performance, current form. बिल्कुल, it's not an Indian problem, it's an Asian problem. ये वेस्ट में नहीं होता, ये न्यूजीलैंड, इंग्लैंड में इतना नहीं होता. हम ये देसी लोग का प्रॉब्लम है. And unfortunately, it might cost India. It might cost India a World Cup. Anyway, my friend, see me at 1:30 on Reposo, 2 o'clock on News 9, and then in the innings break between India and Nepal on Cricket Next. Love you all. Thank you all. It's been a great session. Thank you for watching this live stream. Have a great Monday. Take care.